Chef Freddy here at Fantasy Springs with my cooking tip of the week. Today we're going to make a clam and corn chowder with summer squash. Okay, now to make a good clam chowder you really need to start with fresh live clams. Two reasons. One, fresh is better than canned. Two, you end up with a beautiful broth which is really good in making your clam chowder. When they're done, you take them out of the pot, you strain out that broth, make sure there's no sand left, put it aside for when it's time to add into the soup. Put a nice heavy bottom sauce pot or Dutch oven on the stove, medium-high heat. About a tablespoon of olive oil, about a cup to a cup and a half of diced onion, and about 1 cup of diced celery. I'm going to saute this for about 4 to 6 minutes. Add some kosher salt, a good teaspoon, some freshly ground black pepper, and let that continue to cook. Okay, our onions and celery are just where we want it. 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, nice pinch of red flake pepper, 3/4 teaspoon of minced fresh thyme, and about a 3/4 teaspoon of dried oregano. Let that cook down till all those spices bloom together. Now, an unusual ingredient you don't usually see going into soups. We're going to add some medium yellow cornmeal or medium yellow polenta. I'm going to stir that in all to coat. That's going to help act as a thickening agent. Stir that all in so it's all nice and combined. Now it's time to add our clam juice. 32 ounces. We can always add a little more. So now we want this to simmer for a while. Okay, now that the broth is simmered for a good 20 minutes or so, now we're going to add our potatoes. So 2 cups of diced Yukon Golds. And we're going to let that simmer for about 10 to 11 minutes. The potatoes start to soften. Potatoes have been simmering in the clam broth for a good 10 minutes. White corn here, fresh right off the cob. Our yellow summer squash. Good 2.5, 3 cups of that. If it looks like it's getting thick, you can always add a little clam broth to it to thin it down a little bit. But now that we've added the summer squash and the corn, some natural water is going to come out of that. And that's probably going to be just enough liquid we need to get the consistency just where we want it. Okay, now the chowder simmered long enough with everything in it. And to that, we're going to add all those beautiful clams, okay? And now we're just going to let this simmer no more than 2 or 3 minutes, and it's ready to serve. And there you have it, clam and corn chowder with summer squash. I'm Chef Freddy from Fantasy Springs, and I'll see you next time. Forget about it.